Now you may have seen this game crop up on Twitch recently. It had a couple of sponsored videos with some reasonably famous Twitch streamers. It's another Battle Royale game. I know we have had quite a few of these recently. It's quite a very common trend at the moment. However, maybe take a look at this one. There are quite a few kind of interesting, unique features to this. It's made by Tencent Games, who are heavily involved with the creation of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So there are going to be a lot of comparisons and similarities here. So just for those people who have played Battlegrounds, who have probably come across Ring of Elysium through that kind of association, I'll hopefully try and do a few comparisons to that for you. And just as we go throughout the video, I'll be making a few kind of explanations about how everything works. So I'm just going to jump into a quick solo game and we can show off how the game is going to run. Okay, so this is what you're first going to see when you start up the game. So this is basically the map in the middle. Only one map at the moment, but they may add more in the future. We're not quite sure what's going to happen there yet. So all these little squares, literally just click on wherever you want to spawn. So there's no airship or dropship or anything like that you fall out of. You're just going to click on your point you want to spawn and you'll go there. The blue squares you can see are where other players are spawning. And the yellow little dots are the buildings. So I'm going to go for this built up area here. A couple of other players, but we should be okay. And you can see on the right hand side, these are our 3 transport packs. So these are going to kind of denote if you're going to start with a glider at the top, a snowboard on the skiing pack, or you're going to get the climbing gear on the climbing pack. So at the top you get less capacity, so you can carry less stuff. However, you do get a bit more mobility. Skiing pack, you get a bit more capacity. You can have a snowboard instead of the glider, so you're not quite as quick. Climbing pack, you get the most capacity, but you are kind of the least flexible. You can't just pop a snowboard or your glider whenever you can, but you can climb up certain things, and you can use fixed zip lines. So you could, in fact, trade mobility for carrying capacity. So the more mobile you are, the less stuff you'll be able to carry. So there's no backpacks to pick up, unlike in, say, Battlegrounds or some other games where you get more carrying capacity based on how, what your backpack you've got is. In this case, it's what transport you've got. So the more flexible you are, more mobile you are, the less stuff you can carry. So I've gone for the glider pack. So I've got a good bit of flexibility. However, I am kind of lacking in the carrying department, so I need to pick and choose what I'm going to take with me. If you're playing in a squad game, you don't have to start with the same transport pack. So if you're playing with squad mates, I normally play with 3 other guys. Me and one of the other guys generally take a glider. The other 2 generally have snowboards, so you can pick and choose as you want. You don't have to pick the same as your teammates. As you can see, I'm currently in third person view. I can switch to first person if you like. If you're not a fan of third person, don't worry. There is a first person only option. If you don't like being able to peer around corners, you do have that option, so don't worry about that. So I'm just going to start by collecting some gear. I've got 4 times and I've got a red dot for my M4 I've just picked up. It's got 3 weapon slots. One useful little feature that I'd like to show you is the dual scope feature. So you can see all the attachments I've attached to my M4. There's actually 2 slots for sights. So I've got the red dot and the 4 times. So what I can do if I aim down sights, that's my red dot. If I press V, which I've got it bound to, I can switch to my other scope, which is a 4 times, switch back to the red dot, and I can switch back and forth when I'm not sighted as well. So if you want to, say for an assault rifle where you may want to be shooting people close up or a little bit further away, and you don't want to have to sort of open your inventory every time to switch between a more distance oriented sight like a scope or a kind of red dot, which is for more kind of close, accurate target acquisition, you can switch back and forth just with a single press of a button, and you can do that with any gun that has a scope option on it, and you can attach whatever scope that gun can take. You can switch back and forth between whichever one. So that's a really useful little feature. Good for assault rifles. If you want to take maybe a semi-automatic sniper, you may normally have a scope, but you may want to switch back to, say, between an 8 times scope if you have one, or maybe a red dot, or a 2 times or a 4 times. So it just gives you that little bit of flexibility, which is nice. So I think I've just heard a guy running around. So I want to be a bit careful around here. I'm going to use the control key so you can walk slowly to reduce your noise. You've got to be wary of how much noise you're making. I think I just saw his gun clip through the wall there, actually. There he is. So I did manage to take the guy down. I was slightly cheap, so I did see his gun slightly clip through the wall, which is a shame because I didn't know. I knew he was around here. I didn't know exactly where he was. I probably would have seen him, his silhouette come through the window, because he doesn't quite know where he was. I already knew he was there, unfortunately for him, before he was there. So I managed to get the kill. So obviously I can now loot him to my heart's content. I can't switch transport packs. I can't, if he had a climbing pack, I can't switch from my glider pack on the fly. You are stuck with it for the game, but you can loot anything you find off someone. So let's just get a bit of a gear. Got a nice double barrel shotgun, so that's a really nice option to have. With the 3 weapon options you've got, you don't have to stick to certain weapons. So for example, in Battlegrounds you have 3 weapon slots. You'll have a pistol slot, you'll have, and then 2 primary weapon slots. In this game, you can have any 3 guns you want, any combination of guns in those 3 slots. You could have 3 assault rifles, you could have a shotgun, a sniper, and an assault rifle, you could have 3 SMGs. So you can have basically any combination of guns that you want. Another useful little cover feature here, you see that kind of arrow that's appeared to the right of this cover, and I'm kind of hunkered up against the wall. That means if I right click or hold down right click to aim over shoulder, it will just pop between that window, which is a nice little touch. So if you're up against a tree or up against the edge of a wall or a window frame, you can kind of pop back and forth, kind of Rainbow Six style between that bit of cover. So if I release my kind of over the shoulder view or the aim down sight, I'm just going to pop straight back behind that cover. It's a good way if you want to pop back and forth. Useful little feature that. Just because there's a lot of instances where you're, say, hiding behind a big fat tree, you're running around in the forest, you can kind of accurately poke back and forth between it. You don't have to kind of skirt left and right. There's no lean mechanic, but you can use this as kind of an alternative for that, excuse me. So I'm just basically at the point where I'm just going to be looting little bits of gear. The game is actually quite generous in the amount of gear that it provides you. You see just in this building there are about 3 assault rifles and the respective ammo types for them. Also, generally don't have too much difficulty finding the attachments I need. The only real difficulty you might have is finding 4 and 8 times scopes. So bear in mind, again, this may change down the line if people feel that it's too easy. Developers may change like the spawn rates and the drop rates of certain things. The only difficulty I've ever really had is making sure I've got 4 and 8 times scopes for certain guns. Other than that, most of the guns are quite easy to find, with the exception of airdrop guns, which I'll show you later on. So I'm going to bring up the map now, so you can see the blue area is going to be the next danger zone. So anything in that blue area is going to be, you're going to start taking damage in that area in that timer at the top, which is now 4 minutes 51 seconds. The grey area is actually that safe zone. So I want to make sure I'm in that, which thankfully I did spawn in that. So it's quite a big area. You do get quite a long time to get it. You get about 6 or 7 minutes, again, maybe subject to change, to actually get to the next safe zone. However, this is not a safe zone that comes in slowly. As soon as that timer runs out, that entire blue area is immediately dangerous. It doesn't slowly start coming in, so you have a bit of time to outrun it. It will just be immediate. As soon as that timer runs out, if you're in that blue area, you are going to start taking damage. And the later on in the game it is, you're going to start taking more and more damage. So you get quite a long time, and you've got quite a few different methods of being able to get to that next zone. However, the first one encompasses the majority of the map, and it is going to be instantaneous once it lands. So you've got to pre-plan, you've got to think, I need to move. You've got a fair bit of time to loot gear. However, it's an instantaneous zone, you need to be there, and it's taking up the majority of the map. But you do have quite a few transport options. You've got vehicles of various kinds, you've got snowmobiles, you've got monster truck looking things, you've got little cars. And obviously you've got, in my case, you've got the glider. You've also got other transport options such as the snowboard, or you can use the zip lines. So you have quite a few transport options as well. Looks like I haven't seen anyone for a bit of time, which is quite nice. Always a bit more hectic than this. So basically for that third slot, I'm basically going to be looking for a sniper rifle, and hopefully I can get a scope for it. So my usual combination of weapons is normally a shotgun, obviously for close encounters. An assault rifle is good all-round ability, good all-round weapon. And the sniper rifle, I think, hits that third slot quite nicely, so I've got something good at every distance. But obviously, it's entirely up to yourself. You can take any combination of weapons you want. Vaulting mechanics work quite nicely, so you can vault through windows, vault over walls, and you can jump up and clamber over walls as well. Let's go for a quick run. So you can see it says climbing pack needed to rappel. If I had the climbing pack, I could go down that zip line. However, generally because I've got the glider, I can glide pretty much any... If I've got any sort of position of height, I can jump off and have a go at this guy, for example. Let's switch to the full time. Ah, he's gone for the snowboard pack. So I'm going to try to lead him slightly. So you do have to lead a moving target. There's not instantaneous hit scan weapons, so if the target's far away, the bullet will drop slightly and it will take a bit of time to travel there. But with the snowboard, I can glide. I do love the glider. Let's see if we can take this guy down. Shotgun might come in useful here. There, he's coming at the back. Nice. And then we can loot this guy. So he had a superior vest as well. As you can see, I've got a superior vest, and I've got a superior... I haven't got a superior helmet, sorry, but hopefully I can get one of those a bit later on. So the levels of gear aren't quite as differentiated as they are in PUBG. So for example, in PUBG, to carry stuff, you've got a level 1 backpack, level 2 and level 3 that you can find. Obviously in Ring of Elysium, it's determined by what transport gear you've got. So I've got, effectively, you can consider a level 1 backpack as the glider, level 2 for a snowboard, and a level 3 for a climbing pack. The vest, you basically have a regular vest and a regular helmet, which are very common. and in this you have a superior helmet and a superior vest, which are quite a bit rare, a bit harder to get hold of. They're the only other pieces of gear that you find that are quite tricky to get hold of. Normally most games I'll end up having to fight with a regular vest and a regular helmet. Oh, hello, someone's just gliding there. Let's see if we can take this guy down. But there's only 2 levels of gear, and level 2 is quite hard to find, unlike in PUBG where there's 3 levels of basically everything. So I managed to tag in one, so red skill comes up. I'm going to use the cover of the window. Fair bit of recoil on the guns. I tend to find the recoil isn't quite as big as, say, in Battlegrounds, but it is. You do need to manage it. You can fire full auto a bit more often than you can in PUBG because the recoil is quite a bit higher in Battlegrounds. However, you can't just spray endlessly. You are going to have to manage that recoil a bit. You want to fire in bursts if you can. Nice to get that grenade. Just trading hits, not doing too badly. I'll patch up. So in this game you've got bandages which heal about 10% of your health, take a couple of seconds to use. And you've got first aid kits which give you about 70% of your health, take about 5 seconds to use. And you've got a full heal kit which is quite rare, and they're going to take about 7 or 8 seconds to use. Oh, got a hit on the head there. Helmet saved me. So I'm going to have to pop a med kit, so it's about a 6-second use time. It's going to give me most of my health back. There's no boost items in this, items instantaneous, and you can go to 100%. I've taken way more hits than I have the right stick. There's a guy out. Everyone's on me today. It's not normally this busy. It looks like everyone's after me. I'll have to switch to the shotgun again. So you can see in the bottom left, we'll get to it in a minute, but the next save zone has been decided. I'm going to have to move again in a minute. So in 4 minutes, 50 seconds, we're going to have to move on. Or we're going to get caught in the snow, which you don't want to do. Stairs. Managed to take him out with the shotgun, but it looks like we've got someone else who's after us, but I can loot this guy. So I managed to get a superior helmet off this guy, which is nice. It's in a full neck as well. And I might have to switch my vest out for another one because I've got a superior vest, but it's taken a bit of damage, although it seems to have saved me twice. I've been on low health quite a few times. So while I'm looting this guy, you can see in the top right, I've got the Steam FPS counter up. So generally you can see it's ticking over about around 60, 65 at the moment. I generally say it runs fairly well. I don't have a top-end PC by any stretch, but it's not a kind of slouch either. I'll post my specs in the video description so you can compare how similarly you run to your system. As always with PCs, they always run a little bit differently depending on your specs, and even just then, there's a bit of luck. Some people with better PCs have some trouble running games that other people can run. Generally noted the lowest the FPS has ever got is about 35, and that's only in kind of really hectic areas. Generally it stays pretty stable above 40, which for an early access game, and bearing in mind my PC isn't, it's hardly kind of high end anymore, I think it runs fairly well. I have no complaints really about how it runs. Most of the time I'm above 50 to 60. Occasionally it'll dip to sort of 40, 45, but it runs fairly consistently. I've never had something mess up because I've had a serious frame drop. So fairly happy with the game, way the game runs. You can compare your specs to mine and see if you agree that that's fair. But bear in mind it is an early access game, so you can forgive it not running, being completely optimised, not running perfectly. But I've had no major hiccups. Really, I think it's perfectly reasonable to use. It looks like we've got another guy over here to deal with. Switch back and forth to my bigger site. Looks like he was on the balcony. I don't want to take him out because I can't one-shot him, even in the head. So sometimes it's wiser just to leave him. I do like the sound of the guns. They are quite loud, the guns. They do feel quite beefy, which is quite nice. Quite distinctive gun sounds. All the guns sound quite different, and they actually sound like they have some weight to them. And you can see them echo sort of throughout the map, which is quite nice. So it feels like overall the game, it runs fairly well. It's just that there's quite a few things that I feel just add to the little... Just make it feel like a better, sort of more thought out game, like the sort of cover mechanics where I can sort of latch onto a windowsill and kind of hug it, or where I've got the ability to switch between different scopes. They're fairly minor things, but when they all kind of stack up together, it just feels like a very sort of well thought out, very well rounded game. It feels like someone's taken some care and has taken all the little things that PUBG took sort of several months to get to. So for example, the vaulting mechanics and sort of the cover mechanics and just the things that took a while to get. It's already got all of those, and it's got a couple of extra things. So it's kind of learned from the sort of things that PUBG took a while to get hold of, and the kind of the development of that. It's already started at a higher point than Battlegrounds did when it came out, which is really nice, and it runs pretty nice as well. Slight FPS drop in the snow, but no major deal. A lot of people, especially console gamers, will be used to 30 frames per second anyway. I'm just going to glide along here. That's another nice little touch as there's less and less time between the storm hitting. If you're not in the safe zone and the storm's coming in a minute, you can see the snow is going to come in more and more. It's going to get more and more kind of blurry. Oh, tries to go for headshot. Suppressor really actually makes a big difference on the gun noise, so that's a nice little touch. So you can see now there's only a minute until the just over a minute until the storm comes in this area. You can see things got a bit bluer. There's kind of ice on everything. There's icy textures all over my clothes. It's a bit hard to see in the fog. It's a nice little touch. It just makes the world feel a lot more real. It makes it feel a bit more developed. And it's nice to see that. It's a really nice looking game as well. I think some of the textures could use a bit of work. I'm not playing on maximum settings by any stretch. I'm playing, I think, everything's set to medium. However, a couple of the rock textures are a bit naff. They could probably do with a bit of an update, or maybe they'd look a lot better on kind of higher some of these sort of rocky and snowy rocks. Rocky and snowy rocks? That's a terrible choice of phrase. But anyway, some of the textures on the rocks and some of the snow textures are a bit naff, but the kind of snow particle effects are really nice. Gliding through this forest is really cool. It's a very pretty game. I think the snow's a really good sort of setting for it. So top right, there's only 17 people left. So I've now gone into the safe zone. It's died down a bit, took a hit there. It's just proning on the ground. So you can do it against trees as well. Bear in mind, it doesn't mean you're completely safe. It just gives it... I do not want to be on the end of that. But being in cover does mean you're completely safe from all angles, but it basically means you can be fairly certain you're safe from anyone that's directly in front of you if your cover's big enough, but don't assume you are 100% safe. That's the Remington 700. That's one of the beefier sniper rifles. You hear the airdrops arrived, although I've got bigger, more pressing problems. You can see that blue kind of shield is the kind of edge of the zone. Let's get a headshot. And my arm was sticking out because I was trying to heal, and unfortunately, guy managed to take me out there. Missed a couple of those shots, so it looks like I got taken down. However, I got me down to 10. Oh, is he going to end? Oh, I can't believe he got away with that. But since I can now spectate the player that killed me, and we're kind of near the end of the game, there's only 13 players left. I think I might as well roll with it and just spectate for the rest of the game, just see how this guy does, just because so we can kind of see an entire match in one video. This guy managed to take me down, and you can see in the kind of along just above his health bar, you can see on the right hand side where the F key is with that kind of pickaxe symbol. That means he's got the climbing pack. You can actually see the kind of climbing things on the back of his backpack as well. So that means he's got the climbing pack, so he will have the option of carrying a bit more stuff, and he can use the kind of zip lines, which hopefully we'll see in a minute, just to show what they look like, because I haven't been able to show you that yet. But we'll just see how he gets on with the rest of the game. Only 11 people left, and he's going to be going towards the next safe zone in a minute, because the storm's going to be coming in. So we can just see how he gets on. So while we're waiting for the next zone, I can explain how the end of the game works. You can see that orange smoke is where the airdrop landed. So like in PUBG, pretty much I think every single Battle Royale game has something similar at this point. That's going to drop from the sky. If you get over there, if you're the first one there, you can get some unique and very powerful loot. So you can get some really nice high-power sniper rifles. You can get the Styre AUG, which is a really nice airdrop-only assault rifle, which you can only get in an airdrop pack, which is a really nice weapon. Managed to get that a couple of times. And you get some nice gear as well. You can normally get a superior helmet, some nice scopes. But generally, if you can get there and get out, you can get some nice gear. However, bear in mind, everyone's going to be converging on that location, so it is kind of a high-risk tactic. But if you get out, you will be able to get some nice gear. So what I was going to say was, normally to win a Battle Royale game, you have to be the last person or the last team standing. However, there's a nice little twist in this Ring of Elysium. You don't want to be the last person or team standing. What you need to do to win is be one of the 4 people that gets in the escape helicopter that turns up in the last safe zone at the end of the game. So as the last section of the storm comes in, a rescue helicopter is going to come in. You're going to see it on the map. You're going to see where it's come in. You need to get to that, climb up the ladder, and get in there, and that's going to make you safe. So there's 4 slots on that rescue helicopter. So if you're playing up to solo, you don't have to kill every single other person. You just have to be on the chopper at the end of the game. If you're playing in team, maybe 4 of you left by the end. However, you need to get all 4. If you want to get the whole team to win, you'll need to get all 4 players on there. However, you might be able to get 2 of your team, and then maybe on 2 other teams, 1 person, and then gets on, and then another person from a different team gets on. So it's not necessarily going to be a you win this game. It's you manage to escape along with maybe, say, 3 other people or 4 other people, someone might grab the last seat. There might be other people left on the map. They're going to lose. Or it might be there's only 3 players left and they get all 3 seats. It might be one person wants to kill everyone and be the only person on there. It might be that 4 players at the end decide not to shoot anyone and just let everyone run on. However, because you don't know what other people are thinking, you can't just run in and try and grab a seat on that chopper if you think someone's going to shoot you. So you've got to be a bit careful about that. So this guy's just taking the zip line down into the next safe zone. So that's just cool to see how that looks. So it's fixed zip line position, so you can only take preset positions on the map. However, you can see where they all are on the map. They're kind of designated by white lines. See, the weather's going to clear up slightly now that the guy's in the safe zone. So you can see he's right on the edge. You can see that's basically blocked off by the big shield. So you want to make sure you're on that chopper at the end of the game. It doesn't matter if you survived up until that point. You need to make it on that chopper. It doesn't matter how many players you've killed. Here it comes in now. If you bring up the map, you can see where it's going to come in. However, it's generally a bad idea to just run in, try and jump up the ladder, because while you're climbing up the ladder, it takes about, say, 6 or 7 seconds to get up there. Yeah, you can't use your weapons, you can't shoot from it, you are a sitting duck, and if anyone's around watching it, they're going to take you out, generally speaking, unless they're nice and they've got a slot for themselves. So it comes in quite quickly, so there's only 6 players left, there's only 4 seats, and just because there's only 4 players left doesn't mean they're not going to shoot you if you try and climb up. So it's an interesting little way of getting out. So sometimes players will be nice and just let you get on, sometimes they'll a bit more harsh to you. Once you're in that chopper, you are immune. No one can shoot you while you're in it. If you make it, you make it. You can just sit out and wait for everyone else to try and get on, which is a nice position. It is nice being sort of safe, guaranteed a spot, and then seeing how everyone else is going to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't make it this time. Let's see if my killer can make it all the way. So you can see in the middle, just under the compass and the UI, oh, there's a guy there on the right. Compass on the UI, there is, you can see all the 4 slots are empty, so you'll see those fill up, and it will announce that there's been, let's say there's only 3 slots left, or 2 slots left, or whatever. Looks like that guy might just go for it. He's driving up. High risk tactic. Now eventually, you can't wait forever because the storm is eventually going to hit this area as well. So this is the last safe zone, but in 1 minute 47 seconds. You can still see in the bottom left, the storm is going to hit this zone as well. So it is going to, you are going to start taking damage. You can't just sit around forever. Eventually, you are going to be forced to go for it. Someone got sniped. There's only 4 players left. Will they let each other climb on? This will be quite interesting. So one slight criticism I would have, I think other people have picked up on this as well. At the end of the game, oh, it looks like the guy just disconnected. There's only 3 players left. So we'll see how this guy does instead. So there's only 3 players left now. That big turkey was an airdrop, if you're wondering. You can see the mist is starting to come in. Yeah, that big turkey was an airdrop, if you're wondering why there's a turkey lying around. The criticism I was talking about at the end of the game is because when the storm comes in, it becomes a bit of a heal first. So kind of the winner at the game ends up being whoever had the most health kits, because you can out-heal the cold damage. So it basically becomes a case of you sit behind cover, taking damage, just healing up until you run out of medkits, until you're forced to run out. So basically, the more medkits you have, the more you can sit in cover, until they get to the point where someone runs out and they have to make a break for it, or they have to try and kill someone, and they're generally getting it cut down. One hit there, but just managed to make it. So a bit like they went high risk, climbed up, but they only took 1 hit going up, so they managed to make it. So this last bit often just turns into a heal fight, essentially more than an actual fight. Everyone sits in cover, healing up with the medkits. Someone runs out of medkits, has to run for the chopper, and generally gets mowed down. So it is a slight criticism. They might change how it works, because it generally, at the end, just ends up being a case of whoever, unless if you're playing in solo at least, whoever has the most health kits can just sit around for longer, play it safe, and just pick off anyone who goes to the chopper. There's one guy over there. There's 2 players left. Will they try and kill each other? Or will they be nice? So storms come in, players do get revealed on the map. You can see the 2 red dots in the bottom left. Do occasionally get flashed up. And it's going to be quite foggy, so you might have difficulty seeing people. So that's pretty much going to be the end of the game. We'll just see if this guy makes it as well. And he pops in, so we'll just see if the last player basically has enough health left. So he's going to be taking damage to actually jump into the helicopter. And there's going to be up to 3 winners. So I think that pretty much explains everything. So apologies anyone if anything was unclear. If you've got any more questions, please leave them below in the comments. Other than that, thank you very much indeed for watching our video. I've been Ben from GameReview.com. Please check out the other videos on the channel, and as well as that, we've got our main website with all our kind of written content. Please take a look at that as well if you have some time. The link to that is in the description of the video. I will see you next time.